Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 90, freaking 9. Tonight we are talking horror movie soundtracks. What's going on, dudes?
Hey, man.
Wow.
The horror Gretzky episode. The Gretzky Massacre.
Yep, the Gretzky Massacre.
99 episodes is wild, though. Seriously, that's a lot. That's a lot of content.
It is a lot, yes.
Yeah.
If you think of that as hours.
Yeah. And all the research and everything else put into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wasted time. I'm kidding.
Time well wasted.
Yeah, I know. It's been awesome. Yeah, 99 is crazy. We still don't know what we're doing for 100 yet, so.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah,
Hope we make it there.
I've been wicked stoked on this one just because we've... in past years, we've managed to do 2 Halloween specials, and then last year we were unable to for whatever reason. So I've been chomping at the bit since then to get this one going again, and it's going to work out. So
We didn't do a Halloween one last year?
no, we did not. No.
Oh.
Why? What was the deal?
I don't
Yeah, what
know. I
happened
think
there?
We just ran out of time. We ran out of Octobers. There were
We
no more
can
Octobers.
record these anytime, though, really.
We're
This one's
probably
recorded in Christmas Day. We're recording this Christmas Day right now, so happy Halloween.
We just did 3 back to back to back.
Yeah.
Just released over 4 yees.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. We're just doing the train of them right now. We're in
Yeah,
the
that's
midst
right.
of them.
Totally.
It's currently 2020. Man, what a year it's been.
What a year.
Yeah, crazy. Let's get. I just want to make sure I get the title of this episode correct. Is this
Yes.
horror movie music?
Horror movie
Period?
soundtracks, horror movie music. Yeah. So
Yeah,
initially when I brought it up, I was thinking of, there's the trajectory of just focusing on the main theme songs for whatever horror movie. And then I thought, well, it might be kind of cool just to dig deeper and find songs that were interweaved in these movies that don't stand out on a soundtrack because it's, most of it's like an original score, sort of a motion picture score soundtrack. So I thought it was kind of cool just to go back and see what other stuff stood out, mainstream music in horror movies as well. So
Yeah,
What you got? Let's start it up. Are we gonna go
fire up
starting
the
at
list.
number 1?
yeah, we're gonna go number one. So
Doing
this
cash.
is
Coming in.
Yep. So this is from 2004's Dawn of the Dead.
As it were,
And
the
the
noise of
song
thunder.
is Johnny Cash,
One of
The
the 4
Man Comes
beasts
Around.
saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse. There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around. The hairs on your arm will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup. Will you partake of that last offered cup, or disappear into the potter's ground? When the man
Now this
Interesting
track,
pick.
It's a cool one because it opens up the movie and it fits. It just fits. Johnny Cash singing about heaven, hell is overflowing, and where do the bodies go, and when hell it gets too full, kind of thing.
Yeah, like Johnny
Pulls
Cash
out
is
to
like,
zombies,
if I like his older stuff too, there's something grittier about it. Like,
Yeah.
Even when
His
you think
voice.
like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a little bit more drawn out, and it's just a little freakier sounding.
Yeah.
He's like, this is inspired by the Book of Revelation, apparently,
Yeah.
and it's about mortality and judgment. So he's starting to think about it in his older years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I haven't seen that movie probably since then.
Oh, okay.
I have not.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it at that time, and I don't think I've seen it since.
That was one of the movies that I overwatched. I got so into zombie movies in that period that I watched everyone that I could find that came out since.
There was lots. There was lots during that time too.
1980
Yeah, that's
whatever to 2004. I watched them all to the point where that was all of my dreams sleeping were zombies, something to that effect. And then so I was completely obsessed with that series. So
Never seen it. Does it hold up?
it's great. Yeah. So it's you've got the Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead, and Land of the Dead, and it just kept going and going, and then this was kind of remake-ish. So yeah, solid flick. And it's really cool too, because I've been going back and getting back into all things horror movies. The last 10, 12 years or so, I have not been able to devote any time to it. And so now I'm going way back, and I'm rewatching all of them. I mean, this last week has just been all Friday the 13th, catching, from 1 to 8, and then, just grabbing what I could. So.
Yeah, going back to those classics, it's been a long time since I've watched those, mostly because Nicole doesn't watch horror movies. So that's the kind of stuff that I watch when I'm like working out, and like, I'll watch like Walking Dead and stuff like that one during that time. But yeah, that's the main things. But I haven't gone back. Like, I would like to go back and watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street, or at least some of them, maybe not all of them, but and the Freddy's or the Jasons and stuff like that. I watch all that. Like,
I highly recommend Child's Play, the Chucky movies.
Yep.
Oh, we were just talking about those today. Yeah,
So good.
And all the new TV shows that are coming out with these, like remakes and extensions of in television version, which is cool. So, yeah.
Nice.
So,
what do you got? Number 2 coming in at number 2.
Number 2, we've got Friday the 13th, Part 3, original theme. From 1982, and going into exploring other songs from that series. One of the ones that popped up was "He's Back," the man behind the mask, Alice Cooper, from Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives.
You're with your baby in your parked alone on a summer night. You're deep in love, but you're deeper in the woods. You think you're doing alright.
Part 6.
Yeah. So good.
Just
And
can't kill that bugger.
You can't, man. He lives. And then the next one is The Darkest Side of Night by Metropolis. That was from Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Fallen angels lead to the street. It's an empty dance, and so incomplete. Their hollow voices whisper the cry. Farther down the line, there's a reason why. You've tried before, but you can't buy it. No matter what you do. The darkest side of the night burns like a fire for the wasted light. And there's no way you can fight to show some respect and try to
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's amazing too, going back to these movies where, I mean, you remember snippets of them from your youth, but you don't remember all of it. And then going back and watching it, I remember it being so frightening, and now it's just silly with a lot of gore.
Yeah. It's funny, like it's like horror movies can like have 18 parts and like everybody accepts it, right? Like it feels like in other movie genres that just never could happen.
Yep.
Like Titanic 18 just doesn't work.
Yep. Yep.
So, but they'll try to make that work, right? It's just running out of ideas.
Sometimes it seems like it's a bunch of B-reel kind of like slammed in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, they get to the end of filming, they're like, shit, 45 minutes ain't gonna cut it, guys. We got to put some B-reel in.
Totally. We need to
Is
chop
there a
another
pool
head
scene?
off.
Is there,
and we need to, yeah.
I don't know. Hitchhiking scene. Yeah.
Hitchhike and do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, even going back to Friday the 13th, Part 8, where it gets to a point where when they finally get to Manhattan and Jason is chasing them down, and there's one scene where he's walking down a major street in New York, and there's these punk hoodlum kids sitting on this side bench, and they've got their stereo sitting there playing their music or whatever, and you see Jason just walk right past them and just fucking kick this stereo out of the way and keep walking. It's just some you wouldn't even think. He just keeps going.
He didn't slash their throats as he walked by.
No, but they pulled their knives on him, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna pay." And then he turns around and he lifts his mask and shows his face, and they run away. He puts the mask down, turns away, keeps walking.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
that's a sweet one. I'm down with number 3. I like your number 3 too.
yes, I was thinking of you on that one.
Oh yeah.
So number 3. Dusk Till Dawn, 1996. So
Great
we've
movie.
got, what do we got? We got 2 songs on here. So The Blasters, Dark Knight.
Hot air hangs like a dead man from a white oak tree. People sitting on porches thinking how things used to be. Dark night. It's a dark night. Dark night. It's a dark.
That's the one that starts it, or is that the one that ends it?
I think
It's
that's
during Selma Hayek when she's doing her dance with the
no,
snake.
that's the next one. So the Blasters one, I think, was the one that opened it, and the second one was Tito and
After Dark,
Tarantula
right,
After
gotcha.
Dark. Yeah, that was the dance scene. So.
Watching her strolling in the
still a
love
great
that movie,
movie.
man. I don't know what it is about that movie. Something about it. It's just great.
It's
Harvey
rad 'cause
Keitel
it's-
is so good in that.
Oh, man.
the preacher, and he's got
Yep.
the crossbow gun.
just the whole Tarantino thing,
forgot
and well, the Tarantino thing, and having it be a vampire movie that you don't know that it's a vampire movie till quite late
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
show, right?
and George Clooney's fantastic in
Oh,
that.
man.
And I'm not a big George Clooney fan, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot in there, anything that I really like. But
Yeah.
that was good. I was like, this guy's awesome, and then it kind of just went down from there. But- Am I wrong? I don't know. Is there like good George Clooney stuff that
I don't
The
know.
Ocean series.
Yeah, the Ocean stuff was okay. Ocean's 11 and 12 and whatever.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's come
I didn't
along,
see 12, but
He's come a long way from the Roseanne show, so
He's the same character in everything he does.
yeah, that's true.
pretty
That's
much.
true.
It's just George. You know.
Yeah. Oh, there's George.
It's George.
Who you pretending to be today, George?
He's a badass though in that movie.
Totally big neck tattoos and
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. And Salma Hayek's good in it, and yeah, it's that song, that Dark Knight comes on at the end when they're scanning down on the brothel, and then they show like the bottom part where it's all like the underworld, and it's like that's when
Right.
it kicks
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
It's a Dark Night. Yeah, that's the scene. Love that.
yeah,
Good
no,
pick.
I love the end of that movie, the very last scene where the front they pan out and they show the front of the bar, and you see all the semis and the trucks and the motorbikes and whatever, and as they pan out, the back of it is like this temple, this pyramid kind of temple that's hanging off a cliff. It's like, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sweet. It's a good
Yeah.
movie. 1996 though. Wow, that was
Yeah.
like Quentin Tarantino prime time.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to number 4. Halloween 1978, the John Carpenter title theme.
Classic.
Yep.
So he composed this himself. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't either. I read that too, and I was like, "That's pretty sweet." That who does that?
Okay, I got a question for you, Flip. So apparently he was using a 5/4 time signature that creates like the tension in
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah.
What does that mean? There's 5 beats per.
5 beats per bar with 4 quarter notes, like 5 quarter notes in the bar.
Okay, 5 quarter notes in the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, how does that create tension? How does that make a song feel?
Well, probably
Chilling.
because you're waiting for the downbeat and it doesn't come, and then
and you're like, ah,
It never
God.
comes.
yeah. I'm so conditioned in a Western society to count to 4 and expect something new. Right?
there you go.
That's
All
my
right, it's-
that's my unofficial interpretation of what that means. But you know,
It is still scary to this day. It's like
Yeah.
the Unsolved Mystery song. They're like the same kind of thing where you're like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
but it's just that you can feel that like 5/4 thing where it's like
Someone's chasing me. Oh my God.
Yeah. I had this kid in band class one year that he would just come into the room and just play that on the piano every single time he came to the
Kick
band
ass.
room.
Oh, what a little jerk.
Yeah, every time. He was also the guy too that would play Careless Whisper on his saxophone every single time. So it was the same kid.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you watched any of those remake Halloweens?
I've watched all of the remakes, and I've been delving back into the originals. Looking at the originals, I remember them once again being more frightening than they are, and it's kind of shocking just because of the genre that it launched, because basically that was the first one that sort of launched that whole 80s slasher thing. And the first, there's no gore in it. Like, they never show the gore.
Right.
And then you start going, when Friday the 13th comes out, it's basically they decided to make that movie because Halloween was so popular, and then it was just a gore fest, and then that kind of carried on and on and on. But the remakes with Rob Zombie directing and writing and whatnot, they're great. So
yeah. And that's the thing too, kind of going along with the horror movies. Like, there's so many of those remakes, but the remakes tend to be pretty decent compared to the originals. Like,
oh, totally. Like the newest Friday the 13th. I mean, it's a couple of years old now, but that was so well done too. So there's also a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street that I just watched on Netflix, and yeah, that one doesn't hold out so well. But the rest of them are good. So
yeah, Freddy must be really different. It's pretty hard to replace Robert Englund.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. With any of the the Texas Chainsaws, you can just put a leather skin mask on anyone, or with Jason, you can put a hockey mask on any big dude, and it would just work. So,
do you remember when you were a kid and like there would be like some sort of McDonald's theme thing happening, and Ronald McDonald would come out, and it'd be like a completely different guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You kind of hope that you saw the same Ronald McDonald every time, but you knew it was somebody different. You're like, oh man, it's a different one.
I remember this one time, like Ronald McDonald came out and he had an English accent, and I was just,
who is this guy?
Who's this clown?
Who is this clown?
But that's what I imagine, like the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street with like, another guy.
Yeah,
just another man.
What?
Yeah.
Well, here comes Freddy.
Here comes Freddy.
That's not Freddy.
Yeah. No, it's written for like one character.
Yes.
Yeah.
One actor, right? Like, that's. Yeah. But yeah, you can pass off Jason and Michael Myers and all those guys.
Well, I found a really cool show on Netflix not long ago. It's called The Movies That Made Us.
Oh yeah.
And it tells the whole story and shows how they made Halloween, and how they made Friday the 13th, and how they made Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's just really cool seeing the footage from the early 80s when they were making these things, or the 70s and whatnot. And it's there's one story where they were talking where Robert Englund comes in, and it's the first time he puts on the glove, and the blades are so sharp, and he doesn't realize it, and the very first he puts it on, he does one of these, or he closes his hand, and it just sliced his arm. Like the very first time, so now he's got to go get some medical attention before they can even start shooting.
They sharpened the blades?
It was sharp then anyway. I would assume it would be dull for the rest of it, but they probably learned the lesson real quick.
Some 80s safety right there.
Yeah, the weaponist on the Nightmare on Elm Street set.
Oh,
go to court.
The first one. Well, let's. Yeah, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this one. So let's go to, because that's coming up. So let's go to number 5, The Exorcist, 1973. another
this
super
is
iconic.
This is in my like probably top 2 of like scariest movies of all time for me. Like it still holds up. I don't care how, even if I know that it's cheesy, there's just something about it, the feel of it, the way, like, I don't know, man. It's just one of those movies that is like stuck with me forever and is burned into my memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the paranormal stuff, and you know, I can get through. I've always enjoyed the slasher stuff, but when it comes down to the paranormal shit, it messes me up. I can only do so much. So, and that's why that one carries a little more weight for me. So,
yeah,
it's interesting. It wasn't written for the movie initially.
Oh, no way!
Like, it's just some creepy tune Mike Oldfield created.
Yeah,
and yeah, they just picked it. It fit. I don't like. I don't even know if it. Do you think it would be creepy without the context of the movie?
Yeah,
kind of is, but I mean,
yeah.
It's just interesting
to disconnect those two. It's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that pairing is amazing.
Yeah. And once you've heard it once, you can't disconnect. You can't take them apart. So,
do you guys remember when you first saw it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like it's one of those movies that you remember when the first time you saw it. Where some other movies you'd be like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Did you pray? Did you say like 3 Hail Marys like that night?
Yeah, you
after
just
you
like
saw it.
Yeah, and then I saw it again like at like 11 o'clock on like CTV. Right, it was on super late, close to Halloween, and I shouldn't have done that either. Like one of those, right? Like you regretted it back then, but. Yeah, no, there's something about that movie. Yeah, but good pick. I mean, it's got to be on this list.
Yeah,
no
that
question.
Can't not be on the list.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, The Exorcist 2.
The Exorcist 2. I have not watched because they've got a bunch of them that came out.
Yeah, pretty sure they came out with Exorcist 3, and then that was like the end of that, universe, and then they went probably to the next one. But 2 is like. Probably one of the worst movies ever made, though. So, yeah. The original people didn't really want to sign on for that. So
no.
Yep.
All right, let's go to number 6, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. So you've got the main theme, and I mean that's iconic as hell. And then you've got 1, 2, Freddy's Coming for You. That creeped me out for my entire childhood. It's like, no, don't sing that song. It's so scary.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like it was like geared towards like our age group, like that. You know what I mean? Like we were kids during those times when we were watching this movie, so like that didn't help the situation either.
Yeah,
because you were the victim.
Totally, he went after the kids in your dreams.
Yeah, in your dreams. That was the scary. It was like you can't fall asleep ever, and like thinking about that as a kid, you're like. Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's the most terrifying part of it. And I mean, going back and watching the movies now, the special effects definitely don't hold up, but there's still that lingering in your mind from childhood that it's still hard to sit through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at that point. It's still just what you remember.
Totally.
That you kind of connected to, right? Like, I don't care it's bad, but I don't care.
Yeah. Or the amount of movies that we saw in the covers of the VHS in the video store, and you always thought like they had the most terrifying cover art, and then when you finally watch the movie, it's like, oh, this is, they're never none of that stuff is in the movie.
No.
Like you look at Ghoulies, where it's got that picture with the monster coming out of the toilet. It's like that never happens.
Oh yeah. I always remembered Fright Night. That cover looked terrifying.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah. It's like a golden age of that too, right? Like it feels like that was part of it when you're walking through Blockbuster or wherever you're going through, right? Like.
Yeah, it was just a sea of it. I mean, when you go to going back to even stuff that Poltergeist, Hellraiser, Unreal, like it just keeps going and going. Child's Play, Evil Dead. Evil Dead is probably my favorite series.
Good. Yeah,
favorite series ever. So, but going back to the stories of Nightmare on Elm Street and the making of. It's amazing the things that they did to make these movies on such a small budget in such a fast time without any safety in mind. There's the scene where they're in the bedroom and she starts like the blood shoots out of the bed and she's like flying onto the ceiling and onto the wall and then onto the floor, like she's just shooting all over the room. And they built this huge contraption with this bedroom all in it that they could spin manually to get that shot. But there was part of it where the blood shoots up from the bed and just kind of envelops the ceiling, and the electrical on there was still on. So they had this thing flipped upside down. And then they had this guy on top of this rotating box with drums of fake blood that he's got to pour down into the scene. But the electricity and the lights were still working, so it comes down and he gets zapped because it transfers through the water. It's like, what the fuck, man?
That's crazy. It must be wild on these like horror movie sets. Like, can you imagine? Like,
especially in that
it must
time.
be tough to like be a horror movie actor.
Yeah.
Like, because it must be tough to keep it serious in those kind of situations, and people are just like throwing blood on you, and
and the really bad special effects when you're looking at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street, and so you get to the I love it. You get to the end of Nightmare on Elm Street, and the kids survive, and they get into the car, and the car roof turns into Freddy, closing in on them, the convertible roof that comes over, and then you see the mother is standing and she's waving by, and then all of a sudden she gets grabbed and sucked through that little front door window. But when she gets sucked through dragged through the window, you can tell it's like a dummy, like an inflatable kind of doll getting pulled through. So
yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was so bad.
Yeah. And at the time it was terrifying, but now
at the same time.
Yeah. So, what were the other tracks I had on here? So, Dawkin, Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 1987. The other one, it's a little more obscure. It's from, I had to do some digging to find this one. So it's from Wes Craven's New Nightmare in 1994. And it's the main theme song, like the main Friday the 3rd, or Nightmare on Elm Street theme song, but it's when he's on a talk show. So they've kind of changed it and tweaked it so it has a different weight to it, where it feels like you're on a 90s talk show, and it's
that's cool.
Yeah, but it's still the same song. They just kind of switched it around a bit, so I thought that was super cool. It stood out to me. So
Freddy's dead and gone.
And how about your co-star in the original in Nightmare 1? Would you trust him alone with Dylan?
Robert? I don't know.
You know what? Why don't we ask him how he'd feel about it? We've got a big surprise for you, Heather, and for our audience. Let's bring him out. He is the best of the bad. Let's say hello to Robert Englund. Love you, babe. We'll do lunch.
That's awesome. I was gonna say too, 'cause we were talking to Evil Dead there a second ago.
yeah.
There's a new Bruce Campbell show that's he's involved in.
An Evil
Really?
Dead one or a separate thing? Because he's been doing things for a while, but they had a TV show. Well, it was a Netflix exclusive, whatever. Probably a good 7 years ago, and that's brilliant. It was so well done. And then I think they're working on one other thing now.
Yeah, I just saw it not that long ago, and I don't know. It's got the Modern Family, the main the mom in that.
Okay.
She's in the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a comedy or?
No, I don't think so. Because something goes. She's in the kitchen and something goes crazy with the lights, and she's got the microwave on, and then she looks into the microwave, and there's this demon in the microwave, reflection, and then it's boom, and it just zooms out, and it's hysteria or something like that, and then it said Bruce Campbell, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I even enjoyed the remake that they did in, what was it, probably 2010 maybe, somewhere around there.
The 20, I think it was 2013, that Evil Dead one,
somewhere around there. Yeah,
okay.
It was so good.
Yeah.
They just kept it going, and Sam, I'm pretty sure Sam Raimi was on that one as well, or the making of and developing. He didn't give it to someone else to do. So
yep,
I think that's what kind of kept it a little closer to the original. So
yeah, no, that one was good too. I've only saw one once too, but it was good. What do you got next? The list keeps going.
It does. So we're getting closer. So now we're going to go number 7. Tales from the Crypt, 1992. The main theme song done by Danny Elfman.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I had
didn't
no
know
idea
that either.
either. I mean, it had that vibe to it, but I never dug into it enough to know, and it's it makes total sense.
Yeah,
He's such an interesting cat. He's so I don't really know anything about him yet. He's done some really iconic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another terrifying cover to the movie.
Oh yeah.
As well. That's another
So good.
one that's a classic.
But fun, right? It's got
Yeah.
a playful edge to it.
It's
Yeah.
campy and playful because it's on TV, so it's not a movie. It's a series of mini shows, really. So
Yeah.
yeah. And the cartoon, they did a cartoon of it for a while there, and that was great
Did they?
too. I'm showing it to my boys now, and they're loving it. So
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt Keeper it's called. So,
Oh yeah.
so good, very iconic.
Yeah, classic font too. I love that font.
Yeah,
The
and it's
dripping or
kind
whatever.
of cool too because you've got that Tales from the Crypt, and then there's Creep Show, the movies that were. It's very much along the same lines of these short stories, these mini horror stories put together into like a 2-hour movie. And it was kind of funny doing the research for this. There was Creep Show, and then there was Creep Show 2 that came out. Creep Show was 82. Creep Show 2 was a couple of years later, and it's I remember a scene from it where these teenagers are going to this lake. And they go and they swim out to this raft or whatever in the middle of the lake, and then out of nowhere this blob of whatever comes slowly towards them, and it slowly starts devouring them and taking them away. And I always thought that was from Tales from the Crypt, and I just found out that it was from Creep Show 2. And it's like, yes, because I've always been talking about it as part of Tales from the Crypt, and I could never find it. And then I found this.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, so it makes sense now. And now I can I can watch it again because I can finally find what it was from. So
Yeah.
because
I
watched
remember
that
this
when I was
cover,
maybe
Creep
8
Show
or
2.
something.
Me
Yeah.
too. I was just
Yeah.
looking it up too. I remember that too.
Yeah,
Awesome. So cool.
yeah.
It's just like illustrations, like very lifelike illustrations, but like, yeah, creepy.
Well, you got to think too. I mean, back then when it was just VHS, they didn't have the commercials for these things. They couldn't. It was difficult to sell a movie, so you had to sell it with the packaging.
Yeah.
You would pick up this movie on just a whim because of the cover, and take a chance because this looks terrifying. So let's go. So.
Okay. Interesting. So the Crypt Keeper has nothing to do with Creep Show.
Mm-mm. But they're very, very similar, similarly made, and put together. So,
Creep Show is. See, now you're getting me mixed up on those because now I'm thinking one of them is Stephen King. Which one's got Stephen King on it? He's part of it. One of those.
I gotta think.
Yeah,
It's
they're
been a long time.
1982.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He plays someone. And he's like, it looks like some sort of farmer.
Okay.
But I'm just looking at images right now. I'm pretty sure this is him.
Yeah. He's because I remember that as a kid too. That it was like connected to that because I thought it was like some of his.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him, right? That's
Yep,
Stephen
that's
King.
definitely him.
Yeah. That's him for sure. That's it.
There you go. Yeah, who would have known?
Nice.
Thank you. Just
That's,
making these connections.
It's all coming back.
Yeah, 1982. Yeah, I remember that. Nice.
Right.
Okay, what else
Let's
you
go
got, man?
to number 8, Monster Squad, 1987, and the song is Monster Squad Rap.
100 years in the darkest night, the forces of evil come out to fight. The amulet they must destroy, or spend forever in the darkest void. Who can stop that deadly might? Who will stand up for the right? From the mouth of babes comes dynamite. The Monster Squad gonna groove tonight. First came Dracula, now the Wolfman too. Mummy and the creature from the Black Lagoon. We need silver bullets, we need wooden stakes. Normal stuff won't stop because they live on hate. Speak some magic words from a virgin's lips. Maybe that'll shake you, make you slip and trip. There's no turning back, gotta fight the fight. Yeah, the Monster Squad gonna jam tonight. Monster Squad, we're the Monster Squad, and the forces of evil better run and hide. Monster Squad, we're the Monster Squad, and the forces of evil. Let's beware of the
Wolfman don't have nards.
Wolfhand has nards. Kick him in the nards.
Okay, I don't remember this rap. Did they at some point in the movie start rapping, or was this like when the credits rolled?
It's the credits roll kind of thing, and it's basically telling the story of the movie, basically. So like in order of how things happen in this rap. So
the overture, at the end.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So
right, okay,
yeah, great movie. I rewatched that not too long ago, and it's still very entertaining.
It is, hey?
Yeah,
it's been a while since
cheesy.
I've seen this one, too.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the movie poster, and it's good.
Yeah.
There's, like, nobody in this movie that I know. Like, nobody went on to do anything. Literally, the only guy that I know in this is, like, the guy from Wonder Years, his brother.
Yeah.
The brother.
It's the brother. That's the only guy that I knew in here. The rest of this, I'm like, I don't know any of these people.
Where's that guy right now? I wonder if he gets noticed all the time, everywhere.
Face down in a motel room.
Yeah, probably. It's the way to go.
Guess.
On that note,
Yeah.
All right, let's go to number 9 is Hellraiser from 1987.
Yeah, that the main theme, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the main theme.
The main theme.
I went back and listened to it. It's freaky.
It's so creepy, and it's so well done, and just it's another movie that's front to back. It still holds up, and it's just different. It stands out from the pack, definitely. So
yeah, that's another cover that I remember very vividly as a kid, seeing that in the video store, and you don't forget that cover.
Yeah, and the lament configuration, and the Cenobites, and it's so unique. So
yeah, did they do a remake on that one?
I think they did.
There's a bunch of different ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know that if they did.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's
the
main,
Lemmy co-wrote this.
Yeah, he
track
co-wrote
with
it.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was on the No More Tears album
Hellraiser.
before Motorhead made their own version. So are there two versions of this song?
There's two. Yeah. So Ozzy. Yeah. So Ozzy has his, and Lemmy's got his. So
which one's better?
Lemmy.
Of
course.
You're not biased at all?
Not at all. I love them both, but Motorhead is always number one. So
okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10.
Okay, number 10. We're going to Blair Witch, 1999. So the main title track or theme track, Black Hills Forest. That is creepy, and that whole movie do you even remember watching that movie in the theater? Did you see it in the theater? And
yeah, man. I was working for Music World, and I got the free passes, and I called up Kev, and we went to go see it downtown at Eaton Center.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about this movie. It was before it was before it even came out. It was the like pre-release, the free passes. So like we didn't know what it was about, and like we got out of there, and I remember even going down like those Eaton Center, like you go down the escalators like 4 times, right, to get back down to your car or whatever.
And it's 11:30 at night, and
and all the mirrors and stuff on the walls and stuff. Anyways, we were just like, what the hell did we just see? Like, what was that? Like, it felt like as soon as we saw it was going to be big too, because like it kind of was different than anything that we had ever seen before. And still scary. Like,
it's like one of the first reality TV sort of shot, you know, where you're shooting it with, there's one camera or 2 cameras through the whole thing, and it's by the characters.
Found footage.
It's and just, you know, you watch the whole thing, and it's the screaming and the running through the woods, and you don't know what's going on, and you never see
running scene.
You never see the Blair Witch ever, and then it gets all the way to the end. Spoiler alert, you should have probably seen this from 1999,
25 years ago.
But when they go down into the basement, and you just see this really shitty basement, and look around, and there's the guy standing in the corner, just facing the corner. It's like, dude. And then
and the movie,
and
the movie right there. And I think too, it preyed on like your fear of the woods, and like when you've been camping and it's pitch black and you hear sounds out there, it plays on that, and you're just like, oh,
absolutely.
And it still does.
Yep.
Out there.
Have you ever had that experience again, like walking into a movie and like you have, okay, I did once, and like I almost walked out. Like I stayed for the Blair Witch, and I don't think I was like even, it was scary, but I don't think I was bothered to the point where I needed to leave.
Yep.
But there was a movie that came out in, I want to say 2017 maybe, called Life.
Okay.
And it looks great. Me and Kira thought it was like a documentary, like one of like sort of like, look how beautiful the world is, like, because it was a space movie.
Natural
and I was like, okay, it's going to be like some great space footage.
Yeah.
And whenever we do our thing outside before we go into the movie, and we're like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And within 5 minutes, we see Ryan Reynolds. And we're like, okay, it's maybe not like a space documentary type thing.
Yeah.
And within 7 minutes, he's getting murdered. And like the goriest, most disgusting way. And we were like, this isn't Life. Why is this movie called Life?
Ryan,
and just like it was this alien that was, anyway. The whole movie was just a massacre. It had nothing to do with Life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up. I've never heard this before.
And you actually walked out of it, or?
I was so close. I couldn't take it. It was just literally, I think it was within the first 10 minutes. And like, you're like, okay, Ryan Reynolds, he's going to make it to the end. He's like big time actor, whatever. Not even close. He's gone. Knocked him out. He was the first guy to get.
Oh,
Canadian gets taken out first.
Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing the picture for this. Oh, it's got Jake Gyllenhaal too?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay,
so,
cool.
I don't remember the space helmet with a hand and the broken glass.
Yeah.
We saw the one where it's like, looks like a planet and there's nice sun coming up, and we're like, okay,
nice. Yeah.
This looks great. Space. It's gonna be nice and relaxing kind of space movie.
You can't judge the horror movie by the cover.
Holy smokes. And it wasn't like found footage stuff like with Blair Witch. This was like Hollywood, but it's got to be hands down one of the most like disturbing movies I've seen.
Okay.
Just because simple fact, I had no idea what I was going to watch walking into the theater.
Oh, well, it's on my list now.
Yeah. So I guess I can't say spoiler alert, but if you're a Ryan Reynolds fan, sorry.
I want my money back.
Poor Ryan. Poor Deadpool. Yeah. So, but with the whole Blair Witch thing, did you end up seeing the second one, The Book of Shadows?
No.
I recently watched that like this last week. It came out in 2000, and it's shot completely different than the first one, but it also has the super terrifying witch stuff, possession that you know you don't really know what's going on, and then they're trying to retrace their steps by watching video of something that happened when they blacked out the night before, and it's
Was it connected to the first one at all?
It is. So basically, it's people saw the first one, and now they're all going back to those woods. There's, fans of the movie. They're going back to the woods to experience and to check out the sights from the movies, and
Okay.
and camping out and taking these walking tours and stuff. And then the groups kind of get caught up in the whole witch possession thing. It's pretty cool. So, and the soundtrack is solid. So. The one song that I really enjoyed from that was Elastica. The song is called Human.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, so it's very fitting. I mean, the lyrics don't really have a ton to do with it, but it feels very, very horror witchy, kind of dark, sort of stood out for me. So
yeah, no, good picks on those. I kind of forgot about Blair Witch, actually, completely. That's the end of the list of the top 10.
That's it. We did the 10. With some little bits and pieces sprinkled in. So, yeah.
Can I add an extra footnote to that?
Absolutely.
Can I put The Shining's first scene on
yes.
Yes. Great one.
Yes.
List, please, because again, you want to talk about things burned in my memory, but that scene in the synth boom, boom, and they're driving through the mountains, right? You're like, shit,
this is not bad. Good. Yeah.
One that I wanted to put on this list, but it kind of fell into a pocket of there was a lot of very similar movies in that time frame that started off with similar shots and very similar music. Like you got Shining and you've got the whole Evil Dead series, and they just have that same sort of thing, and it's all amazing. I just couldn't quite figure out a way to put it on the list, but that it has to be said and it has to be on there. So
yeah, I mean, there's lots of things in that movie. There's different reconstructions of like classical pieces that they've messed up a little bit, including that opening piece, which is another classical piece. But it was done by 2 women too. I looked it up. Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind, which I thought was kind of rare too for 2 female composers. They also did Clockwork Orange.
Oh, cool.
So,
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
I can see that.
That definitely makes sense.
Or hear
and
that.
they said too that they originally had all of the music done for the entire movie, and they watched the first cut of it, and they were like, yeah, it looks good and everything, and then they saw the final cut, and I guess like a whole pile of it got cut. Man. Stanley Kubrick didn't tell them, and then that just like pissed them off for the rest, and they're like, we're never working with him again.
Oh wow.
So because they composed all of the music because they thought he was going to be in the film, and it ended up on the cutting room floor, and they were just like wasted.
Wow.
And he owned it, so they couldn't get it back. But yeah, that scene is just, again, and that's just like cuts to Jack in the car, like all pissed off, like with Danny in the front seat, like you're just like, oh but he's kind of smiling, you know.
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's my footnote. Thanks for adding it.
Good list and good final pick.
Yeah, man. 99. We'll see you guys at 100, I guess.
Yeah.
We made it. We made it
Let's
to this
go.
point, so I guess we'll do it.
Awesome. Thanks for listening.
Oh, I remember now. Dr. Satan. God damn it, everybody got to know about Dr. Satan. And you know what I'm going to do, boy? I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to let you meet the old bastard.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
All right, we want you guys to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. Keep it going, keep it strong, because we're having a great time entertaining you guys with B-Sides and Beers podcast.